Tuesday resignation of the former Minister of Science and Innovation, Uche Onanji. Many will say it's one of many times within the period of democratic return that Nigerian politicians seem to have done the needful. But the question still remains, will this be the latest trend and a trend to bring about accountability in governance, or will it just be something that we'll see once in a lifetime? Well, anyway, with that thought in mind, I want to quickly welcome you to another lovely time on Atlantic TV. Is Viewpoint. My name, as always, is Michael Gobadia.
And I am Mercy Erabo. Welcome to Viewpoint on Atlantic TV. What a beautiful day to start off the week. And of course, I will tell you, you need to start it with smiles and energy. Well, Viewpoint will go into the dailies, we'll talk about the dialogue, and then the news comes around, and of course the trending. Yeah, so we'll be going on this quick break, and when we return, the dailies will be next.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Well, you do know on Viewpoint, the paper always take center stage as I will look at what transpired during the weekend as we try to usher ourselves into the new week. Well, for review today, 5 papers is what we do have. We have This Day making a return, and The Guardian, The Punch, The Vanguard, and also The Nation, telling us what the nation seems to have. And on The Punch this morning is where we always love to start with, and to see if they give us his usual puncher, and no surprise. ASU rejects federal government proposal, begins 2-week strike today. As riders to the union snubs government peace talks over unpaid arrears. Others insist on industrial action. Federal government says no work, no pay. National Assembly commences move to resolve lingering crisis. I will tell you, don't linger too much on that story, but just go grab a copy of it and go to page 8 of The Punch. And remember, we also took a critical look at these on Dialogue just some few days ago, where we were even informed that they will go on a strike. And true to their word, yes, they've certainly gone on strike. But anyway, we're just striking a deal as it concerns that. Let's see if we take some other leading stories at the topmost side of The Punch this morning. 2027, no part with Jonathan, says Obi on page 41. Naira hits 10 months high on strong forex inflow on page 33. Edun recovery, no plans for replacement. These are credited to the presidency, and you can get all of that story on page 18. But what you get on page 40, Fubara retains 8 commissioners, prepare fresh nominees list. It's a major one right there. But let's see if we take some other leading stories just beneath the picture of the day. And yes, picture it is then. Polaris Bank shines at 2025 BAFI Awards on page 32. A sad one on page 5. 2 arrested over Mona's death at Osun funeral party. And killing, Adeleke denies hiding Omoteku agent, or rather commander, blast APC on page 41. But let's see if we take some other stories at the side also. Tinubu under fire over presidential pardon for drug offenders. It's a major one on page 18. And more Kwara adoptee rescued as military sustained pressure on bandits. And honestly, you can get that story on page 40. But what's the picture of the day is that of the 17th edition of the Indomie Heroes Award held in Lagos. That was just yesterday. And you can see the kids all smiles, taking home cartons of Indomie and also cash prize. And at the end, you now know, Mama too good, oh. Indomie. Well, anyway, that's the much you can take from The Punch.
Yeah, let's see stories making it to the headlines of the Nation newspaper. The lead story, federal government to ASU, strike may trigger no work, no pay rule. Interesting. The rider says ministers we've made comprehensive offers. A strike from today inevitable, says lecturers. Well, you can read more of that story on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Let's see, we have some other stories on page 2. Yeah, Finance Minister Edzun didn't suffer a stroke, says presidency. Wow, interesting story on page 2. Let's see what we have at the top mass of the Nation newspaper. Why Tinubu should be in office till 2031 by Umai. Well, even after all of the scandal, he's coming out to still talk. I feel for now it should just lay low. Well, it's still on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Zenith Bank pays 51.3 billion naira interim dividends. The writer says full year outlook strong. Well, that story is on page 18 of the Nation newspaper. A businessman excretes 127 cocaine wraps. Whoa, that's a lot. 127
funny enough,
cocaine
he did not
wraps.
make it in his tummy. He only added it there.
Can you imagine? Well, that's on page 6 of the Nation newspaper. Dangote Cement begins operation in Côte d'Ivoire with a 3.0 MMT. Well, that's on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. Let's see if we have some other stories here at the side mass. Stock markets return hits 27 trillion naira on earnings expectations. Well, that story is on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. The bottom mass rumples over introduction of lottery bill in House of Reps after Supreme Court's judgment. That story is on page 5 of the Nation newspaper. And the picture of the day, well, is that of the courtesy visit by the Nigerian Breweries management team to the Lagos State Governor Sanwo-Olu over the weekend. Well, that's all we'll be taking this morning on the Nation newspaper. Let's see what this day has for us today. The lead story says federal government threatens no work, no pay as ASO begins 2-week warning strike today. Interesting. This is why I say a bus for a digbos. This is bus goes. Okay, federal government said we not go agree. Anyways, the writer says Alausa says lecturers not interested in keeping students in class. Reviews government has demonstrated good faith, met almost all demands, but union intransigent. Konwa Namda insists their members not joining the strike. Well, you can read more of that story on page 5 of this day newspaper. Let's see what we have more stories here. Arise News Channel will be consoled over Maduagu with improved security healthcare system. Well, that story is on page 5 of this day newspaper. Wale Edun indisposed as Kadaso leads delegation to World Bank International Monetary Fund meets in DC. Well, more of that story is on page 5 of this day newspaper. Any reports 20% crude output rise in Abofield, Lord's NUPRC's reform. That story is on page 12 of this day newspaper. Let's see if we have more at the bottom mass. Yeah, TCN, foreign funding for power transmission hits $1.3 billion in 5 years amid frequent outrages. Well, more of that story is on page 5 of this day newspaper. Let's see what we have as the picture of the day. A night of remembrance for Somto Chukwu. Well, a really sad one we had. So this was the night of remembrance held at this day dome in Abuja yesterday in honor of the late Maduagu. Well, that's all we're taking this morning on this day newspaper. Let's see what the Guardian has for us. The lead story, criticisms, outrage, suspicion trail presidential pardon of 175. Interesting, prerogative of mercy. Well, more of that story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Let's see what we have at the top mass. Prioritize ending impunity for electoral offences, Serap tells new INEC chairman. Well, that's on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper. International Monetary Fund with World Bank meeting. Cardoso leads team as federal government confirms Edun indisposed. That story is on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper. Still on page 5, ASU federal government talks end in stalemate as Cornwall breaks ranks. Interesting story on page 5 of the Guardian newspaper. Let's see what we have at the sidemass. Security concerns. Tinubu, National Security Advisor, and the National Intelligence Agency boss join meeting in Rome. Well, that's on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. A federal government revokes Maraba Kefi roads contracts over negligence and faulty design. Well, that's on page 30 of the Guardian newspaper. A psychologist blames lifestyle, others for emotional instability amongst youth. Well, you can read more of that on page 29 of the Guardian newspaper. Presidency, Sultan others commit to friendly girl-child policies. Well, that's on page 30 of the Guardian newspaper. Ombas exit ends PDP's stake dominance in Southeast. Well, that's on page 29 of the Guardian newspaper. Still at the bottom, Zenith Bank hopeful of full year performance pays 51.3 billion naira dividends. That's business story is on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. Let's see what we have as the picture of the day. Yeah, that's still the courtesy visit of the Nigeria Breweries Management team to Lagos State Governor Sanwo-Olu over the weekend. Well, that's all we're taking this morning on the Guardian newspaper. Up next is the Vanguard.
And the Vanguard indeed is the next paper for review, and indeed our last paper to look at today. So we look through the papers. Non-oil export. Local investors lose out to 4.8 trillion naira boom. And well, it's a major screamer right there. And riders to follow up that story. Foreign rivals within cheap capital, side stepping export rules and outmuzzle local operators. Stakeholders decry funding crisis, port bottlenecks. Analysts demand stiff to value addition, and NEPC reacts. But I feel you can get more reaction as it concerns that story on page 25 of the Vanguard newspaper. But let's see if we take some other leading story, especially at the topmost side of the Vanguard. Zenith Bank declares 51.3 billion interim dividends payout, and you can get that story on page 26. But what's a major one on page 13 is 100 billion loan sparks war of words between the present governor of Benue State, Ala, and Otom, the former governor in Benue State. Well, let's see if we take some other major stories at the side mouth of the Vanguard. You can't fight drugs by freeing traffickers. ADC slams Tinubu on page 11. Renowned activist Abiodun Aremu killed by hit-and-run driver. And that very sad and disturbing story you can get on page 6. State regulators ask National Assembly to halt central gaming bill. And you can get more of that story on page 43 of the paper. But a major screamer on page 8, and which seems to also be on almost all the front pages of the dailies today, is ASU shunts federal government insists on strike as over unresolved demands, and how ASU strike averted talks on 2009 agreements as federal government averse to enforce no work, no pay policy. And I will just plead with them to ensure that this does not lead to further industrial move by the very union. What's also on page 8 is prostrate Lagos hospital perform first Eurolift surgery in Nigeria. Like I said, that cherry news you can get on page 8. U.S. genocide debates packed by, or rather, yes, U.S. genocide debates packed by federal government's failure. And Hassan seems to be saying that says government prefers 2027 politics to national survival. But I'll tell you to survive on that story on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. The picture of the day is Papa Oyoyo, or President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as he arrives in Rome. And you do know he's not going to see the Pope, but he's on an official visit to see the Prime Minister of Italy. And well, that happened yesterday. And you can see the dignitaries, especially the ambassador to Nigeria or from Nigeria to Italy, being there to really welcome the president. That happened yesterday night. Well, anyway, that's the much you can take from the papers, and I will always implore you that if you do find any that you feel you can read, well, why not brace yourself that very opportunity? Go grab a copy of the papers and read up and get more information as it concerns it. But we'll not be having so much talk today, but one that we'll really love to talk about is the issue of the strike. I remember we looked at that last week on Dialogue. We had a great interview with the present ASU chairman of FUPRI right here in Delta State. And he gave us the nod, or rather gave us a glimpse of advice as he let the cat out of the bag, saying definitely the union was going on strike. And like I said, we needed to pray. But I don't know, was the prayer not done on Sunday, or when was it? That ASU is now changing their mind, and indeed they are going ahead with the strike. But like he also emphasized that more needs to be done, especially as it concerns the 5-point demand that the union is seeking for. But the federal government feels what they are doing is they are jeopardizing the future of many young Nigerians, and the strike will do no one any good, but rather put the children back on the back pedestal. Well, Mercy.
The one that really baffled me is the fact that the federal government came out to say no work, no pay. Like, is that the way to solve issues amicably? You were supposed to just resolve all of this so it won't lead to the industrial strike. But now you're coming to say no work, no pay. And I know ASU, they are not scared of threats. It's not today. I remember one time that the strikes for over 6 months, all because of this no work, no pay policy. So I don't think this is the right one coming from the federal government. They should see ways of resolving all of this and letting students return back to classes instead of finding ways to escalate the whole issue. Mr. Michael, don't you think they're escalating it?
Yes, they are, because with the no work, no pay policy, to do no one no good, you do know the union will definitely not appreciate that, and they might even further, or rather further their move as it concerns the industrial action. And at the end, the federal government, in everything, negotiation is the best way to go. If you do not sit on a round table and talk about issues, it will never end. Just like, let's take an example from what's happening in Gaza. If Israel, Hamas do not sit down to say, well, enough is enough, then it will not definitely happen. And I would just plead that we do not need any fireworks at the moment between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, because our children will be at the receiving end. And you do know that when they seem to be at home, they eat more. But anyway, we're not eating into the time. We'll actually go on a break now. And when we come back, you do know that Dialogue will take center stage right here on Viewpoint on Atlantic TV.
When the lights go out, who do you call? Ticado! Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Ticado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Ticado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at ticado.com.ng. Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace.
Alright, my name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
Alright guys, back again, yes boss, my name is Osh baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up people, it's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife, and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow, I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV, we wanna party.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different. Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Every year, millions of lives are stolen, dreams cut short, futures traded in silence. Human trafficking is a modern-day slavery. It hides in plain sight, tearing families apart and trapping the vulnerable in fear. But together, we can end it. Say no to human trafficking. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
It's the highest order so far that Ogame is bestowing on you today. So from today, by the grace of God, when your name is mentioned, Senator Fanny Masakura Chantel, ROI will be added to it. God will bless you. You will excel them all. And the torch that is being given to you today, you will hold it aloft. It will burn brighter. Others will find the way. And you will not be in darkness. Ogame will bless you. Congratulations.
Because inside of every single one of you is a leader waiting to emerge, a leader waiting to birth great things in her communities. When I look to you, I don't just see traders, I see leaders, I see change makers, I see destiny shapers, I see warrior women who will transform our communities. I see the future of the Warri Kingdom sitting in front of me. So it is time for Ishekiri women to exercise leadership at all levels, starting exactly where you are with what you have. So today, I want to challenge you. Stop hiding your gifts. Step up for your community. Let us work together to birth and to build great things. It is time for us to lead boldly, speak up confidently, and act decisively. God bless you. God bless the Warri Kingdom.
Women are the heart of the development of our communities and the future of the societies. When women thrive, the family benefits, the whole society benefits, the community gain, and the entire nation reaps for the reward.
You cannot be a leader if you are not impacting. So if you are making money, it's not enough for you to make money. It's also important for you to change lives. Train somebody else. If you're doing business here in Warri, make sure that when you wake up at the end of this year, you say, this number of people are people who I supported. I taught them what I knew. I taught them what they needed to know. I advised them. I sponsored them. I called people to support them. And that's how I've become who I am. I will not be on this platform if I didn't make an impact. So today, I have influence. I have influence because they've given me this platform. Make sure that as we are entrepreneurs and making income, we must make impact. As we make impact, we must make influence. If you have not generated money and touched lives, you cannot have influence.
Any woman who is able to demonstrate that she has capacity and ability to make her society, her community better. Ogiame is interested and encourages that woman to come forward. Let us hear your ideas, your suggestions, your contribution, because it is not only men that will make Warri Kingdom great. It is men and women. And so it all comes down to how you see yourself, not what they told you you are. Do you believe as a woman, as a young boy, as a young man, as the child of a woman, the child of a man, do you believe that you have it in you to contribute for good to this kingdom, to this community, to this society? If you believe you do, come forward and let your ideas be known. You will not be rejected, you will be encouraged. It is ideas that are going to move us forward.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined, uniquely different.
To the glory of God, this library is hereby blessed, commissioned, and declared open for the good of humanity and for the particular betterment of our land here in Delta State through Christ our Lord. Amen.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has accepted the resignation of Jeffrey Uche Unanji, the former Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, amid forgery allegations levied against him. Unanji, who was appointed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on August the 20th, 2023, tendered his resignation in a later last week, Tuesday, expressing gratitude to the President for the opportunity to serve the country. Unanji's resignation comes amid a lingering controversy over alleged certificate forgery, questions surrounding his academic qualification from the University of Nigeria in Nsukka, Nanji and the Enugu state government had the bitter feud and the exchange of words over allegation that he presented forged certificate. The disputes intensified after the Federal High Court in Enugu rejected Nanji's bid to stop the university from releasing his academic record, saying the university had the right to do so. Whether this prompted the minister to resign or not, many feel it was right thing to do to end the unnecessary controversy and drama and distraction as it concerns governance. But the truth still remains. Should public office holders not be accountable to their actions on actions? And how can accountability be restored in the Nigerian polity? Well, these and more as it concerns accountability and leadership in governance is what this edition of Dialogue is all about. As we also take a cue from the recent resignation of the former Minister of Innovation and Science. Like I said, accountability in governance is what we are looking for, taking a cue from that very resignation of no other but Mr. Godfrey Uche Nnaji. Well, anyway, we're not resigning and talking about it, but rather starting to do so on the show today. Like I said, we'll be talking about accountability in governance and how that is really needed if we really do want to change the narrative that we're being faced off or right here in the country. And anyway, to help us look at this issue, he has no bit of remorse as it concerns that very resignation. And he also told me that he's indeed grateful that governance need to be restored in the highest of all form. And I'm talking of no other person but Comrade Emeka Owokocha. Is of the Civil Society of Good Governance and Democracy in Nigeria. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Mike. Thank you very much.
Well, he resigned last week Tuesday, and on the mining he claimed that it was not out of guilt he resigned, but rather wanted there to be no distraction as it concerns this very administration. But many feel his claim, he might just be economical with the truth, as his claim might not really hold water. But my question now is, I want you to indeed help us look at this whole drama and brouhaha centered under what had transpired, especially knowing that it started with Premium Times when they published an investigation exposing how he allegedly forged his degree and NYC certificate. So for you, what's your view about this whole issue?
Yeah, I think this is a reminiscent of the saying that he that goes to equity must go with clean hands. I found that Nnaji's action by wanting to stop the court, by running to the court to stop UNM from releasing his academic record.
Okay.
I think whoever advised him to take that action didn't advise him well, because if there is a doubt of your academic record, right, and the university is willing to make it public, he ought to be the one that will even nudge the university to just do it without wasting time, if he is sure that his hands are clean. That action he took, tends to give some persons reasons to want to believe that truly his academic records have something to really doubt about.
Yeah.
But another angle of it is that the development tends to cast a shadow, a very huge shadow on our transparency index in this country. Recall that he was a minister.
Yeah, for 2 years.
Prior to you becoming a minister, there is this verification exercise, or if you like, call it vetting exercise, that ought to have been undertaken by the DSS, right, and even the Senate.
Yeah, I will plead with you. We'll come to all of that, because I really want to know whose fault this is. But let's still remain with the drama. Now, do you feel, because what he claimed to say was, okay, I've been there for 2 years, and none of this came up, but rather it only started when he started having issues with the Enugu state governor on account of different party lines. That's when, and not only that, it has been alleged that Governor Nnaji, Umba, is trying to go to the APC And Naji has always been a stumbling block, knowing he's one of the highest ranking member of the APC in that very state. So do you see a political undertone in all of this drama?
It's going to be, it will look pedestrian if we want to like weave political sentiment into what is happening.
Because he was a minister for 2 years.
You know
Nothing
saying?
came out of all of this.
Yes.
Only recently we started
Nothing came out.
Yeah.
This is Nigeria.
Yeah, he has been there for 2
nothing
years.
came out. If there had been an error, right? Just as we are still going to discuss on this matter going forward.
Yeah.
If there had been an error and nobody knew about it, there are people that have committed crime in this country and the crime has not been unearthed.
Yes.
They are working as free men in the street, not until they have been indicted. So what I'm saying in essence is this. We shouldn't whip political sentiment into it. There's an allegation that you forged a certificate. Only that statement should inspire you to prove your innocence.
Beyond all reasonable doubt.
Beyond all reasonable doubt. Knowing fully well that the UNN is not cast in the moon. It's just at the backyard. Not to UNN, even who call the media, grant a press briefing. This is exactly what kind of indictment that want to rubbish my hard-earned
reputation.
Not to UNN, please do it fast and release it and let the people see what I have. Simple. This wouldn't have, caused any. It shouldn't have dragged us this far. If for me, if Naji is cocksure that his hands are clean, I don't think it would have taken us this far. He would have addressed the issue before now. It will take him a week to address. For me, that is my take.
So do you feel it is really disheartening to actually see this happen? And we're having a minister that's been saddled with the responsibility of looking at our education, major education, innovation and science and technology, now being immersed in such unnecessary scandal.
Yes, it tells you. You see, Nigeria is not a paradise state, mind you. Within the Committee of Nations, right? We are supposed, to up our hands.
Yeah.
And we are supposed to deploy our activities as civilized persons, right? And this is a minister, a top-ranking.
Okay, now I'll plead with you to hold on. We need to go on a break now. But when we come back, we'll continue our discussion because I also want you to help us understand what seems to be the issue, where the blame who should really take the fall on account of this very unnecessary drama. Let's go on a break and we'll come back and have more discussion.
When the lights go out, who do you call? Ticado! Ticado Energy Solutions Limited, your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Ticado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Ticado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at ticado.com.ng. Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
Alright guys, back again, yes boss, my name is Osh baby.
CME Alade.
Yeah, what up people, it's your boy Victor AD.
Girl Ninyola.
My name is my wife Naija celebrity type man.
My papa say who won't carry cow, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere or I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV, we wanna party.
Atlantic TV. culturally inclined, and uniquely different.
Well, we need to welcome you back, and we're still with Dialogue today. And on Dialogue, we're talking about accountability and governance, especially looking at all of that drama that took place last week, or rather climax last week, Tuesday, when we had the Minister of Innovation, Technology and Science, Godfrey Uche Nanji, finally resigned, training in the towels, and actually saying, well, anyway, I don't understand to be more of a distraction to this very administration, but many are feeling, well, it looks as if he has more to tell us, especially as it concerns the allegation levied against him that he forged his certificate, not just his university credentials, but that of also the NYSC. And anyway, we've not heard from that very Nigerian youth corps yet, but anyway, we're still waiting to see if they will also give in to say, well, that very certificate being issued by Nnanji as a discharge certificate seems to be also forged. But anyway, we're keeping our fingers crossed to see how more of that drama will unfold. But anyway, we're still right here in the studio. And like I said, we still have no other person but public analyst and a member of the civil society organization that are talking about democracy and good governance. And I'm talking of no other person but Mr. Emeka, or Comrade Emeka Onwukocha. Now, Comrade Emeka Onwukocha, let's come to it now. Yeah, I was opportune to read a piece in one of the major dailies. In every way, also saying that, well, this seems to be new in our political journey, getting a minister to resign. We'll come to all of that, but my question is, that very piece in a way praised him for taking that bold step in resigning, rather than being in office and immersing this whole drama. But my question now is, did he resign on his own account? Because the reason I'm asking this, there's a recent Saturday investigation by Punch newspaper claiming that he did not resign on his own accord, but was rather invited to the presidential villa on Monday and was given a directive by Mr. President, or rather the presidency, to step down. Hence, he went forward to resign. So my question, should we really believe that he was pressured to resign, or you felt he did the most honorable thing, and that was taking the bull by the horn and throwing in towels?
I'm
surprised. I really want to get your reaction to this, because your smiles are not really funny.
You see, let me like try and marry this to what happened during Yakubu Gowon's regime.
Okay.
There was this very powerful minister called, I think, J.S. Taka. Very, very powerful. So he had a problem, with one very businessman too, Mr. Godwin Dabo.
Okay.
You know what? Dabo was aggrieved, so he proceeded to Federal High Court, Lagos, to swear to an affidavit to claim that Mr. Taka was very corrupt.
Okay.
So the press feasted on that development and never let go. It became a thorn on the flesh of Taka until he could not resist it. He had to resign. So it now crept into the Nigerian literature saying, as in, if you Taka me, I will double you. So it's more or less like a replay. You recall that the media, have feasted on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you don't even know the extent the media will go. This is just the beginning. The media is ready to go extra mile.
And it was the media that brought it all out.
That's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So Premium Times brought it out, and they are still ready to keep pulling the string until the man Uche Nnanji resigns. No, not even that invitation. He wouldn't have been a comfortable man in the Nigerian political scene when his name is being rubbished. And the manner, the feature article should be written about him, is such that he cannot endure the pressure other than doing the needful. So he being summoned by the presidency, is one aspect of checkmating the integrity of people in public office.
So do you feel the presidency were the one that mandated him to resign, or he resigned on his own account?
Let me tell you, the presidency could mandate him. In short, the president does not even need to mandate him. It ought to be an order. We ought to have, an institution that addresses issues of this nature. That once we have found one thing in the course of your duty, you don't need to be invited. For sincerity and integrity's sake, you need to do what? throw in the towel. And that is exactly what it ought to be. But because we find ourselves in Nigeria, where all manners of wrong could happen, especially when it happens within this political circle, and nothing will happen. No person should be prosecuted. This is not the first time we've seen our high public officers being indicted for forgery, right? We have seen it. In 1999, we had the person of Salisu Buhari, who emerged as the Speaker of House of Representatives, who went as far as forging the certificate of Toronto University in US. So that is for him, and he too threw in the towel because he was no longer comfortable because they made a swoop on it, and Nigerians were eager to see that, he leave that office because it's an indictment, it's a dent on our policy. So not only that, what about Kemi Adiosu?
Yeah,
we have a lot of them like that. So it is not the first time we are saying that, but then it has one very plain fact. Sorry fact indeed, because how did these guys, find their way
to the helms of power? But do you feel it would have been more honorable for him if he were resigned without the president telling him to do so? Which would be more honorable? Would it not be more honorable for him to do so without the presidency calling him to the presidential villa and giving him that directive?
That's the conjecture. That he was invited to be. They did not make open the discussion between him and the presidency. We're only trying to believe that the man must have wedded the big stick or compared him to say, please, you have to leave the scene before it turns something else. But ordinarily, being a honorable member, as it were, a honorable minister as it were, because I tell you that he more or less shot himself in the foot when he went to court to stop UNN. The very school you claimed, issued you the certificate, is ready to publish your certificate for clarification. You went to court to stop it. So what does that?
So that's more like indicting
himself. It's an indictment. You don't even need anybody to tell you that. My Cray, if I bring an allegation against you that you do not have the certificate you are paraded, and you are cocksure that actually you merited that certificate, and your university is ready to publish, you have to upload it. Please do it now. Please, don't waste time. But you went to court to stop your university. So what prompted that idea? That means you have something, you have dirty something in the cupboard, skeleton in the cupboard that you do not.
But what he told us, or what he told the press, was that he will not be bamboozled, pushed into releasing his result. Nobody would mandate him to. He does that on his own accord. Hence, that was why he went to the court to stop the University of Nigeria in Nsukka to do so. So he felt he had no explanation for anybody that feels so, that if they needed it, they would have gone to the school himself to clarify, rather than talking of a public
officer. You are paid with taxpayers' money. You are answerable to the people. Where is accountability? See, if we are same people, I will always make this statement, right? Anywhere I have opportunity to speaking to my people. If we are same people, Nnaji, would not utter such a statement. Do you understand? Do you know what it means to be a minister of Federal Republic of Nigeria? Not even a minister in charge of a critical sector, Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, for that matter, and a prominent media outlet, has come up with an allegation so weighty as that. You are not asking, you are not telling that nobody would compel you. Only that you're a public servant, you have become our responsibility. We have the right to query and question you and interrogate you because we are paid with taxpayers' money. So if you do not, if you think you are not answerable to Nigeria, you better quit the seat. So that statement he made, is more of another indictment on him because it appears he does not really, not only him, it appears the Nigerian public servants don't really understand
the gravity,
or the responsibility, that office the hold carry. If he understands it, he wouldn't make this statement because he owes us a duty to actually live right and to ensure that his hands are clean. I tell you, he that goes to equity will go with clear. So it appears that his hands are stained. That was the reason he ran to the court to stop UNN from issuing his public record. Who does that? So Mr. Nnaji should know, and he knows that he will not be able to wage the fire That was the reason he has to resign now before more harm is done on his integrity.
Well, we are still talking about integrity because that's where I want us to go now. And let's look at the integrity of the vetting agencies in making him finally take that very job. When President Bola Ahmed Tinubu submitted his name way back in 2023, we had the DSS swooping in and doing their own investigation. We had the Nigerian Senate, the Red Chambers, also doing their investigation. So my question now is, who should take the fall for this? Who should take the blame for this? Should it be the Red Chambers for not screening properly, not going forward to check all the needed credentials? Or should it be the DSS who are saddled with the responsibility of vetting this minister? Or a third one, should it be UNN itself? Because the reason I say this, I could still remember vividly well, in December of 2023 rather, the registrar then, one Selim Unambulum, came out to say, she spoke with Gazette papers to say that Nnamdi graduated from the university. Only had to recount her statement in May and October of this year. So my question, who should take the blame for this?
Currently, as it stands now, the president should take the blame. Do you know why? As it stands now, this issue allegation, came to limelight. It's not more than 2 weeks now. Good. It's enough for the president now to make an assertive statement, calling DSS to order, calling the Senate to order, calling the SGF, Secretary to the Government of Federation, to order. Since he didn't do it till this time, he has to take bulk of the blame before we now trickle down now to looking at the TSS.
Okay. Well, if you feel the presidency should...
Currently, I should take the blame now because he hasn't said anything. We expect him now to call these institutions now to order. They hasn't done that. So why is he waiting? So that's what they tell you. That's it tell you. The tolerance, the condonement of things that have put us in a state of disregard over the years. How do we explain it? The vetting process ought to be thorough. For the DS, the essence of DS coming in is to protect the interest and integrity of this country so that, the real men will represent that hallowed office. And they came out, with their recommendation that this man was clean. Automatically, that means they saw those certificates and endorsed them. They must have done the verification, even to the university, let's assume, because that is the essence of it. They must have gone to the university and they certified it okay.
Now, DSS claimed that they were misled by the university.
Okay.
They requested because we have a written statement from the DSS. When we do this every time on Dialogue, we take time to investigate, do our own research, and we found out the DSS said they wrote to the university as of then. Only for the registrar, Selim Nambulum, to come out to say, well, DSS, yes, he graduated from this institution, or he went to, as now she's claiming, because she claims, she said, yeah, he went to the school. Whether he finished, he did not finish, he went, which everybody understand, he went. Now, DSS felt that was misleading. Now, take it now to the Senate. Senate felt if DSS could vet, they also feel that DSS has done their job. Okay. Take it to the institution. Oh, he came to the school but did not graduate.
Okay.
So this is the narrative as it concerns these three major institutions.
I love you, sir. You are giving us ground to further indict them. Now, you felt, you have not seen that you were misled. Has DSS taken an action against the woman? Mr. Mike, let us put this thing, let us throw this card before the public. I don't want to take a side here. I'm a passionate Nigerian who is standing on the fence. Yeah. DSS has come to say, now you have known you were deceived or misled. What action have you taken against the woman? That misled you. So if you're not taking action timelessly against the woman, it further does what? Invalidates that your claim. As simple as RDC So what action has DSS taken? What action has Senate taken? Because when I was in the police force, when there's an issue, every person tries to ensure that you clean your table. You lay your hands bare, clean. You provide your evidences so that you just will not be that. As you are doing it, every other man does so. So at the end of the day, we shall know where the buck should go. So if DSS has not done anything, Senate has not done anything, that tells you there is culpability. See, this is a national issue that wants to malign the integrity of this country, as in, how do our public officers emerge? And if there's no proper scrutiny, that tells you that we are not safe. A foreigner could come and masquerade as Nigeria. I will make him the Minister of Defense. That is how it is. That is how serious it is. An enemy who will masquerade as Nigerian will come. I will make him the Attorney General of the country.
Are you not going to found this? I wonder how
that is the mess. That is the mess. You see, we have stayed too long in this mess. You know, it has more or less become a routine, a norm. So certain things, you know, that will cause Nigerians to scream blue murder. They don't even inspire us to do that, because it appears nonsenses have become the order of the day. But ordinarily, let us talk about it seriously, the way it should be. This kind of narrative ought not to find its way within our political scene. That tells you that there are some persons that are ready not to do the right thing. And the BC must be welded. You know, consequence management must be seen to be pronounced and ensure that these hallowed offices are not desecrated. Because the way it is going, it tells that we are not serious people. Look at the minister, look at a speaker of House of Assembly. How did they pass through the screening? Nigerians are making mess of these hallowed offices, and we cannot tolerate it any longer. The DSS, I can tell you, they do not have any concrete evidence or concrete reason to exonerate themselves. Neither the Senate. But the presidency, like I tell you, ought to have done something. And if they fail to do something, the box of blame will still be on the table.
Okay, now let's talk about tolerating. And let's talk about a change. Yeah, because if you feel we cannot tolerate it, but can we not commend it? I know you will be a bit surprised with this question. Should we not commend this action taken by Nnaji? Because you will agree with me that is a thing of surprise to many. And it's quite rare to find a minister in Nigeria resign. I'll take your mind back. He will be the third in the rank of ministers that have resigned under the return of democracy since 1999. If you take your mind way back to 2018, Kemi Adesho, under the late former president Muhammadu Buhari, resigned in 2018. Go to 2008, under Yar'Adua administration. Also, we had a minister, and we're talking about Adenike. She also resigned. So should we, rather than scream to the high heavens, not commend this kind of action to see whether it will be a new norm among our political office holder? When there's an indictment, when there's a scandal, they should throw in the towel and indeed take a bow.
If we are to commend Uche or any minister, you know, that finds himself or herself in this murky water, following which he or she resigns, that it should attract commendation for the public, that tells you that the public don't even know their onions. That tells. See, like I did tell you, there are normal things. You know, there are things we should not play with. You have erred, you have erred. You know, our temple of justice, our leadership, you know, ought to be thorough. If Uche, you know, has the venom not to resign, it is incumbent on Nigerians, right, to pull him out of that place, because that office belongs to us. We gave it to you in trust. So once I have betrayed that trust, Nigerians will call for their office. It's a public office, for God's sake. It's not your father's.
But should we not commend them to encourage them to resign?
That will still tell you the mess that has become of our public sector. Like I tell you, these things are supposed to be done by default. You don't even need to incite the people by default. What I mean by default, spontaneously, as soon as that error, is discovered, automatically you leave the seat. We don't even need to wait or to beg you or to encourage you to resign.
So, is this not a start to that very vision of seeing them go when they need to go?
They ought to have gone when they err. They ought to have gone. It is like if somebody committed an offense. Police came to arrest the person. You start applauding police that, thank God, police has come to arrest you. When it is their constitutional duty. There's nothing to applaud there. That is what it should be. If we are sane people and we place value, priority on good governance, these are things that should happen, by default. You don't even need to prod him to resign. Immediately, it is sane. He lived this.
So do you feel our politicians are just so immersed in unnecessary scandals? Because that's where my next question will come. Let's look at it. Is it our politicians are so always immersed in scandals? Is it a way of life? Is it more like a part of the policy? Because the reason I ask this, we've seen countless scandals, like the MENA pension scandal, like the Stella Odua case, like even that of the immigration, Abamoro immigration scandal of 2015. So my question is, why is it that we're always finding Nigerian political class always immersed in one scandal on the other?
Okay.
It's a question. Unlike what we see in most developed countries, unlike what we see in other African countries, why is Nigeria so different?
You see, governance is a serious business, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Once you want to trade it on political patronage.
Yes.
When political patronage, is giving more value than competence, than integrity. This is what you have, right? When you want to put somebody in public office, I think what we should be looking at is his competence, his integrity, his qualification, his patriotism, political affiliation or political patronage, shouldn't be
among any of them
the major thing we should go for. Okay. But in the Nigerian political setting, it is all about my own person. I want my person to be there, not minding what character is that.
Okay.
And for the fact that most of our institutions are not independent, right? The man that appoints, still has control over them. For instance, take your
overwhelming power.
Yeah, for instance, take your INEC, right? If INEC is independent, it shouldn't be the presidency that will be appointing the INEC chairman. Let's start from there. Now, they say he that pays the piper dictates the kind of tone he will play.
Most certainly.
Whether I like it or not. But they will want to make it look as if the president is totally detached from that office. Who told you? Who you appointed? By the time he's appointing him, by the time you have a tete-a-tete in the inner room, would you be there? So these are things that are happening. They are running Nigerian economy, Nigerian political scene like their private estate. These are colleagues. These are people who are brought together by one kind of fraternity or the other. So at the end of the day, they are bringing their own man into here, not minding whether he has passed the acid test. And even if they pass through the acid test, they will still manipulate the process because the person you are putting there to test, he will tell him, do this. So the whole system is corrupt. It's laden with corruption. And what we are not seeing at the tail end is the evidence of the mess that has become of our public sector and all the systems, put together. So the whole thing is a charade. So that is why we are saying all these scandals. Ordinarily, why must there be a scandal? There shouldn't be a scandal. So a scandal, when you have the DSS, who should do due diligence job to ensure that the right person, what is it a difficult term to screen somebody's certificate? If you have a thorough biometric and result verification database that are thorough, that are top notch, would we be having all these problems? But when you do not put all these things together, just to create an avenue, for people to circumvent the system, that's exactly what you get. Will they go to US? Will they go to US and want to take an appointment and they will not be properly verified because the data, the biometric database, result verification database are thorough and they are top notch. You cannot evade it. You cannot circumvent it. But here, do we have one? That is the reason DSS could say that the school misled us. How? When the data would be accessible by you, you don't even need this code. You don't even need this code. You're only going, you have the code. You go to the data, you see everything. But you don't have it. So they always want the human factor, you know, to do a recommendation and send to you. And once you do not make frantic effort to see that human interference is reduced to the barest minimum, this is exactly what you'll be getting across board. And that is what has put us in the mess that is hurting us currently. So we have to wake up. These are learning points if truly we really want to learn, right? So that in time coming, right, we won't be having this kind of scandals again, you know, rotting our system, because it doesn't present us as a people who understand the mechanisms of good governance. Because this is where the bad governance starts from. Because if you don't get the right men in the right places, what do you expect them to do? That's what I'm saying. That's what it is. So the first is integrity. If integrity is not prioritized, so what we are getting is what we are getting.
Now you talked about our lack of strength of our institution. And
yes.
There's one institution I want us to look at and see if they can also be held culpable in lack of transparency as it concerns good governance in the country. And one agency, or rather one sector, I want us to look at is the judiciary.
Good.
We've had countless of cases in court that are still lingering on account of mega scandal. One readily come to mind is that of Yahya Bello. We still have the courts, they've not even taken a decision on that. Another major one is the former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, who, funny enough, had almost 700 and something buildings, duplex alone in Abuja. Weighty evidence that are already there, and yet he has not been convicted. So will you put most of the blame on our judiciary and their lack of bites in dealing with these issues? Hence we have issues of
Mike, it's a vicious circle. You see, we're only trying to reinvent the whole system.
Okay.
The rocks are there, seated, characterize every sector. The judiciary sees they have a very prominent and inspiring statement that it is the last hope of the common man, the court. Is it not?
Yeah.
You know the implication of that? The ordinary person, so to say, who has no money, who cannot wage the war, right? He runs to the court, you know, and he'll be what? Secures. His rights will be protected. All right? But is that what we get today now? No. See, it's a country where it appears the bourgeois, you know, are given a different treatment. It's more or less we're operating different laws. These laws are for the bourgeois, and these laws are for the talakawas. They have not. And that is exactly what I have seen. In the lack of Emefiele, how long will the case stretch? How long will the case go on? People are there, scuttling it. People are there ensuring that the case does not see the light of day. It's a corruption case, right? Yeah. Due diligence deployed. Since this government came on board, it's enough, you know, to finish that case.
So do you think they are dragging their feet?
People are there to scuttle the system, you know, to make the system not run, to make it look so lethargy, to Herculean, when ordinarily it's not Herculean.
Okay.
Because of the corruption that have been deployed into every sector. Every Nigerian public sector is immersed in corruption. No one is exempted. Judiciary, the police, the army, the civil service, just name it. All of them enmeshed, deeply seated in corruption. And most of their deployments, most of their actions, you know, are, you know, patterned, you know, by corruption. And it is not corruption, it appears that sector does not exist. That's exactly why you are saying that these things, you know, can't just, they look so difficult to manage or to handle. What is in the court case? What's in the MSUD case that cannot be done with over 2 years now? What? And we're surprised that it will drag on. This administration will time off. If God helps the president, he comes back again. The case keeps dragging. What case is it? You don't need rocket science to deal with such issues.
We still have Dasuki in jail.
Obviously. Yes. Yeah, Dasuki.
That's almost 10 years now.
Yeah, Dasuki in jail. Mr. Mike, I have said it here that if our government want to really deliver good governance, we have to expand our prisons and start building new ones. I told you that every public office, as soon as you are leaving that office, your next sabbatical leave should be in the prison. I didn't say that. I said that here. Because all of them even know, they are fantastically corrupt. All of them know. I don't even need to tell them. Because if you say you're not corrupt, now I will tell you, when you got into office, how well were you? How rich were you? And when you get out of office, how rich were you sincerely? You definitely know, how corrupt our public officers are. They have stolen this country right from time. The country has been bleeding. Till today, what is remaining, it was totally snuff life out of the country. That is what is remaining. And that is why you see that the country is now sitting on a life support. That is exactly what it is now. Aren't you saying? The World Bank now has come up with their latest ratings now that 139 million Nigerians are poor. And they are even sympathetic enough. The figure is more than that. If I want to go by the narrative, the narrative is on ground. What is 139? I will tell you 180 million Nigerians are poor.
We're not talking about the 180 million Nigerians. We're talking about one Nigerian, Nnaji, and looking at how really corrupt, or rather how much of a scandal that seems to be. Now, time is not a friend. We'll soon need to go. But before we do, let's come to what you feel will be the climax of this very issue, of this case. Do you see him undermining he has resigned? He seemed to be a bit apologetic in his utterance that he gave on account of his resignation on Tuesday. My question is, do you see him going to jail on account of these, or do you see these fiddling off, weighing off as time passes, and maybe another major story will come and sweep this all off? What would be the best thing to do for you to help ensure that justice is being done as it concerns?
Let me come in. He say, would I say him going to jail? Who will put him in jail? Didn't I tell you that Nigeria has different courts for different people and different personalities and offices? I told you here.
But what if he's indicted?
Who? He will be more indicted than Salusi Buhari. What kind of indictment again you would have seen in Salusi that which was proven? What kind of indictment again you would have seen in Kemi Adiosu? That the NYC, disowned her certificate she presented. What kind of indictment is more than that? Oh, is it when somebody kills somebody, culpable homicide, that is when he is due to go to jail? So, I told you, who will put him in jail? Who will put Nnaji in jail? Record me and mark the date. Who will put Nnaji in jail? Your president will put Nnaji in jail? House of Assembly members or Senate will put Nnaji in jail? They cannot put Nnaji in jail. The whole thing, they will all it will not turn into a rigmarole. Time before you know it now, it will just pass away. It will fizzle out, like the morning wind. That is exactly how it's going to look like. They're only trying to showcase as if there's integrity, that Nigerian runs on the pedestal of integrity. Who's told you institutions run on the pedestal? Nothing is going to happen on Nnamdi. Nothing is going to happen on Nnaji as it will. Just mark my word. It's not going to jail. Which jail? Which court? Which judiciary will prosecute Nnaji? A high-ranking Nigerian. Let me define his office. A high-profile Nigerian public office. Who is a scarecrow? A demigod. Nobody will put him in jail now. Mr. Mike, are you not living in this country? If it happens in South Africa, I could tell you.
Yeah, we had Jacob Zuma going to jail.
I did mention something. I could tell you could go to jail if it happened in.
But we had the former governor of Plateau State, Joshua Dare, going to jail. We had the former governor of Taraba State, Jolly Inyame, going to jail. So why would this be different?
Sir, was it Jolly Inyame or Dare? Where is he? Is he still in jail?
No, he was giving clemency.
Over what? Because they cited ill health. How many poor Nigerians are sick in the prisons there? Who should be granted clemency? A man that stole us dry to stupor, and he's living on his wealth, stupendously rich, stolen wealth, and you're getting clemency? For an offense he committed. He sent millions of Nigerians to death, early death. And you sent him to jail by error, and you granted him clemency. How many Nigerians are languishing in jail? They are sick, dying. Why don't you grant them clemency? Say, Mr. Mike, I've told you, who is going to put in Nigeria in jail? Unless when you become when you become the, how do you call it? The chief officer of Nigerian Judiciary.
Well, anyway, I'm right here. I'm not a barrister yet.
Energy is going to work a free man.
Okay, well, anyway, it has really been a free discussion, and I really need to thank you so much. And I'm talking of no other person, but Comrade Emeka Wonkocha, who does not hide any ground of, truth. And he dishes it out the way he feels, for coming put and helping us to really do this. And I really need to thank you so much, Comrade Emeka Wokocha. Time is never a friend. We might really call you to see, let's see how it goes. Maybe your predictions will be faulty. And I would really love to bring you here. And
my predictions are cast on stone. Nothing is going to change it. Naji is you is going to put in Naji in jail. Unless when you become the chief judiciary officer. That is
anyway, I doubt if that one will ever happen. But anyway, I'm right here in the studios of Atlantic. And I need to thank you so much, Comrade Emeka Wokocha. He's of the Committee for Defense and for Defense of Democracy and Good Governance for coming and doing this with us. We really appreciate it.
May God bless you guys. You guys are doing wonderfully well. God bless you guys.
Thank you so very much, Comrade Emeka Wokocha. Well, that's more like a wrap for us today on our dialogue. You do know what I will always say. Please, let's get your comments, contributions, and reaction as it concerns this very topic. Do you see the former Minister of Science, Innovation, and Technology going to jail on account of this, or should he be indeed praised to high heavens on account of his resignation? All of that, go drop your comments. Let's get to hear from you. And also remember to share, like, and also to spread the word. Dialogue on Viewpoint is always doing or really looking at topics that indeed are pressing as it concerns the nation. But for me, Michael Gobadia, God bless you. We'll have more to come. The news will definitely come. And remember, Mercy is cooking up something that you'll love to listen to and watch, knowing that we're just coming out from a weekend. Let's go on a break.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Behind closed doors, too many suffer in silence. Too many lives are scarred by violence in the very place that should bring peace, the home. Domestic violence is not love, it is pain. It breaks trust, destroys lives and families, and steals futures. Domestic violence is not a private matter. It's a violation of dignity, and it must end. Because hitting a woman does not make you a man, but correcting her in love and staying in peace with her is God's plan. Together, we can raise our voices, protect the vulnerable, and rebuild lives. Say no to silence. Say no to fear. Say no to domestic violence. Powered by Atlantic Media and TV.
Ruth Gender Foundation.
I'm Ruth Edema Collins. I hold a first degree in physics electronics, a postgraduate qualification in business administration, and a nationally certified French language tutor. Career-wise, I'm an educational facilitator. I'm the managing director at Atlantic Media and TV, and I'm also a director at Vocotech Integrated Services Nigeria Limited. I'm a wife and a mother, and I like dressing up to show up. Yeah, so that's basically me. Thank you. Root Gender Foundation was inspired from my personal experiences growing up as a young girl in a typical Nigerian environment. For me, it was being different. It made people bully me, abuse me, and harass me. I was always misunderstood and underrated. Root Gender is a foundation that is dedicated to building confidence in the Nigerian girl child through educational and inspirational programs, like supporting programs that promote girl child education. We also organize physical exercises for our young girls for the overall well-being of their mental and physical states, and also for the acquisition of self-defense skills. We also sensitize girls on laws that protect them. In our constitution, a lot of girls do not know that they have rights, that there are laws that protect their interests in Nigeria. Hence, they are vulnerable, they are living in fear, which is stopping them from reaching their full potentials. So we sensitize them on the laws that protect their interests. This, like I said, is visioned towards building confidence in the Nigerian girl child. So that is just a wrap-up of what we do at Root Gender Foundation. I would say I resonate with the struggles and the challenges of the girl child, particularly the Warri girl child. I happen to grow up in the heart of Warri. I'm from an average background. My family is an average one, but I experienced a lot. Like I said, I was bullied, I was overlooked, I was harassed for being a different child, for daring to be different, and nobody was taking note and tapping into my potentials. So my interest for the girl child is I would love to be a voice for the girl child. They need people to believe in them. They need people to speak for them. I also want the Warri girl child to know that there is hope beyond the reef. I want them to see the bigger picture. I want them to know that they can compete on global platforms. They can compete on international platforms, and they can do very well. We have the likes of Ada Gold, or Maumi, and the rest of them. They are all competing very well on international platforms, and I know that you too can do that, and I want you to know that is why we are here. Root Gender Foundation is here to make you understand that you can actually be what you want to be. As part of our objectives at Root Gender Foundation, we are dedicated to promoting girl-child education. Like I said, I represent the brand Warri Girl Child. I represent the brand the African Girl Child because I have gone through the struggles from there to here. So giving 2 million to the best female participants is just a way to share them on. It's just a way to make them know that we believe in you. I believe in you. You can look up to us. We are sharing you on. It is not about the money. We believe in your potential. We want our girls to know that you are doing the right thing at the right time. You are in the right place, and this is what you should be doing. That's why we are supporting you, and we will always be here to support you. Girl-child empowerment to me is enforcing laws that protect our girl child. You know, my NGO, we've been pursuing a bill that we will see to be passed. We are asking that our girls should be allowed to carry pepper spray as weapons of self-defense. Because if you look at it, our women have nothing to protect themselves. They are just there by the grace of God. So we are pursuing laws that will protect the girl child. So empowerment, girl child empowerment to me is enforcing laws that protect the girl child, educating the girl child on time and money management, financial literacy, and equipping them with self-defense skills. Also, access to quality education. This to me is girl child empowerment and nothing more. A girl child must possess effective communication skills. They should be able to communicate effectively. A girl child should be financially literate. She should know how to manage her finances, and she should also know how to manage her time. Yes. Also, most importantly, another skill is self-awareness. It's important for our girls to know who they are, to believe in themselves. That's the vision of our NGO, building confident girls that can achieve their full potentials in Nigeria. That is our NGO's vision. So yeah, those are some of the skills I believe that the girl child should possess. She needs role models. She needs people that have dared that path and have made it. Our young girls need role models. That's why we have to do better. We have to do the work. We have to bridge the gap. We have to share them on like we are doing. You can achieve your dreams. First, you have to make education your best friend. Every effort you put into learning will always be there for you to never fail you. Boys will break your heart, people will break your heart, but every effort you put towards learning anything, everything will always come through for you. So for you to achieve your dreams, look towards the right people, look towards the right direction. There are people that have achieved in that route. I will encourage you to look up to them, learn from them. That is just the way to achieve your dreams. My message to the Warri child, like I said, I represent the brand Warri Girl Child. We are letting the world know that we are not vile, we are not roused, we are educated, we compete intellectually, we have good things ahead of us. We can do it on the global platform, we can do it on the national platform, and we are everything there is to be a woman. I would encourage you, Warri Girl Child, make education your best friend. Make education your best friend. Learn new things. Learn new languages. Okay? And the sky will be your starting point. We are always here to share you up. Don't forget that my name is Ruth Edema Collins from Root Gender Foundation, and from all of us wishing you the best, we say keep watching Atlantic TV.
Ruth Gender Foundation. Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Good day and welcome to our daily news roundup on Atlantic TV. I am Michael Kobadia. Here are our top stories. Tinubu reforms attract Qatari $300 billion United States dollar foreign direct inflow pledge. The federal government warns ASU, no work, no pay. PDP to APC, we will not bow. 2027 is a battle for Nigerian democracy. And still in the news, Akalaja to Dangote, you do not stop workers from joining the Pegasus without changing labor law. And on the foreign scene, Hamas hands over 7 Israeli hostages to Red Cross as Trump heads to Gaza peace summit. And on sport, Super Eagles arrive safely in Rio after mid-air scare over Angola. Now to the news in full. A major economic boost for Nigeria as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's ongoing reforms gain international recognition. Qatar has reportedly committed a whopping $300 billion in foreign direct investments to Nigeria. A move analyst says signals renewed investment confidence in Africa's largest economy. Meanwhile, President Tinubu is set to have departed Abuja on Sunday for Rome, Italy, to attend the Akuba process heads of state and government meeting, which will focus on tackling the growing insecurity crisis in West Africa. Discussions at the summit will center on intelligence sharing, joint military operation, and strategies to curb online radicalism. President Tinubu is also expected to hold bilateral talks with world leaders to enhance regional coordination and security. Accompanying him on the trip are Minister for State for Foreign Affairs, Bianca Ojukwu, Minister of Defense, Badaru Abubakar, and the National Security Advisor, Nuru Ribadu, and the NIA Director General, Mohammed, among other top officials. From economic revival to global security diplomacy, President Tinubu administration appears set on attracting investment and also reinforcing Nigeria's strategic role on the international stage. According to a statement from the presidential spokesman, Bayo Nanuga, an high-level security summit, which begins on Tuesday, will gather African leaders, military chiefs, and global counterterrorism experts. The Akuba process, launched by Jordan King Abdullahi II in 2015 and co-chaired by Italian government, aimed to strengthen cooperation among cooperation against terrorism, especially the growing link between the Sahel-based groups and piracy in the Gulf of Guinea. The federal government has threatened to enforce the no-work, no-pay policy against members of the academic staff union of universities, following the union's declaration of a nationwide warning strike scheduled today, being Monday, October the 13th. And a statement issued by the Minister of Education spokesman, Folashade Borowo, the government accused ASU of being uncooperative despite continuous dialogue efforts to avert the industrial action. The minister emphasized that under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, the welfare of university staff remains a top priority, but insisted that the no-work, no-pay policy would be applied if academic activities are disrupted. ASU, however, insists the strike is necessary, citing unresolved issues, including the renegotiation of the 2009 federal government ASU agreement, withheld salaries, revitalization funding, and the unpaid promotion arrears. The union says it will not back down until government fulfills its promises. As the standoff continues, university students across the country brace for another round of academic disruption, raising concerns over yet another setback in Nigerians' higher education calendar. The government also appealed to all academic unions to embrace dialogue rather than confrontation, assuring parents and students of its commitment to maintaining stability in the nation's tertiary education sector. Nigeria's debt burden has climbed to a record level, sparking renewed fears over the nation's fiscal sustainability. That's according to the latest Debt Burden Index report released by the Nigerian Economic Summit Group during its annual conference in Abuja. The report revealed that between 2020 and 2023, Nigerian debt index peaked at 83.6%, the highest on record, reflecting massive pandemic-era borrowing, shrinking revenues, and rising debt service costs that surpassed total government earnings. I described the country's debt system as structurally fragile and fiscal draining, warning that the strain has left little room for development spending. The NESG report noted that Nigerian fiscal challenges are not simply about debt side, but about poor revenue mobilization and weak transparency. It recommended that future borrowing be tied strictly to productive projects with measurable returns, adding that Nigeria must replicate its entire fiscal architecture for growth, equity, and sustainability. Although the index showed slight improvement in 2024, easing to 70.9%, analysts caution the fiscal stress remains severe. The group urged urgent reforms in borrowing, particularly or practice stronger fiscal institutions and complete overhaul of Nigerian revenue system to restore stability. The report concludes that while Nigerians' debt to GDP ratio may appear moderate by global standards, the underlying reality is one of tightening fiscal space, a warning that policymakers may find hard to ignore. Away from that, the People's Democratic Party says it will not surrender to the ruling All Progressives Congress despite a fresh wave of defection by some of its key members ahead of the 2027 general election. The opposition party insists that the coming polls will not just be a contest for power, but a battle for the soul of Nigerian democracy. Now, inside the PDP, emotions are high, frustration mixed with renewed determination as the party legacy house in Abuja. Committees preparing for the National Convention are meeting daily, with attendance and morale reportedly on the rise. Ologu Nagba accused the APC of using coercion, intimidation, and inducement to lure members, but insists that the PDP remains rooted in the people and not in political convenience. He said the party is quietly rebuilding a new 2027 strategy based on public trust, unity, and economic recovery. Now, speculations that Enugu State Governor Peter Mba and Bayelsa State Governor Duyo Diri may soon cross over to the APC has stirred unease within the PDP. Although neither governor has confirmed the report, addressing journalists in Abuja, the PDP National Publicity Secretary, Ologunaba, described the defection as orchestrated move to weaken the opposition and turn Nigeria into a one-party state. He maintained that the PDP has faced greater trials in the past and also emerged stronger. With rumors of more defection looming, the PDP said it's not backing down, vowing to fight on as the countdown to the 2027 begins in earnest. Still talking politics, the immediate past chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, says technology has improved the conduct of elections in Nigeria, but cannot eliminate the flaws that continue to undermine their credibility. Yakubu made this known in a new INEC publication titled Election Management in Nigeria 2015 to 2025, which chronicles the Commission's operations, achievements, and challenges during the decade-long leadership. In the 200-page book, Professor Yakubu described the last decade as one of the most significant in Nigeria's electoral history, highlighting the introduction of key innovations such as the bimodal voter accreditation system, the INEC voter enrollment device, and the INEC result viewing portal. He noted that these tools had advanced transparency and inclusiveness, with target efforts for women, youth, persons with disability, and the internally displaced person. But despite the progress, the former INEC boss admitted persistent challenges, including electoral violence, multiple court litigations, conflicting judicial orders, vote trading, and logistic failures that have repeatedly disrupted elections since 2011. Yakubu also pointed out that while technology has enhanced credibility, it is not a magic solution. He cited technical hitches, equipment breakdown, and connectivity issues as major obstacles in past elections. He said INEC responded with several reforms, from voter education and staff training to improve collaboration with security agencies to protect personnel and ensure safer election. Looking ahead, the former INEC chairman emphasized the need for continuous reform, vigilance, and public trust in the electoral process. Professor Yakubu, who served 2 terms between 2015 and 2025 under former President Muhammadu Buhari, maintained that the Commission must build on both its successes and failures to deliver free, fair, and credible elections in the future. Away from politics, down to business, former General Secretary of the National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, Honorable Joseph Akilaja, says the only way Dangote Refinery can prevent its employees from joining oil industry union is by amending Nigerian labor laws. He made this known in an exclusive interview, warning that the 1978 labor decrees and the constitution already classify workers in the oil sector under specific union. Akilaja, a veteran labor leader and former lawmaker, insists that under Nigerians' labor structure, junior oil workers belong to NUPENG, while senior staff are members of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pegasen. He ordered that any attempt to divert refinery workers into other unions will be illegal unless the country labor laws are reviewed. Akilaja, who reflected on his role in the creation of NUPENG in 1977, compared the union founding team to a football squad, describing the late Frank Kokori as Rashidi Yekini, himself as JJ Okocha, and Alija Okubo as Omokachi Dibu. According to him, the teamwork spirit built NUPENG enduring strength. He further noted that the government in 1978 industrial restructuring reduced nearly 1,000 company-based unions to just 42 national industrial unions, forming the foundation of today's labor system. Akilaja urged Dangote Refinery to embrace cooperation rather than confrontation with existing unions, stressing that dialogue remains the only way to ensure stability in the Nigerian oil and gas sector. He also cautioned against creating a monopoly, warning that if NUPENG were to down tools nationwide, no refinery could stand alone. The Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, has launched a probe into what it described as a suspicious movement of uncleared foreign currency at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. 2 travelers were intercepted with $6 million and 53,000 euros in cash. The FCC, through its Lagos Zonal Directorate, 2 in Ikoyi, confirmed the travelers' identity as Mahmoud Nasidi and Yahaya Nasidi were caught by officials of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria FAN during a routine check at the airport's Terminal 2 on Saturday. Now, according to the commission, the duo, who had just arrived from Dubava, Addis Ababa, were en route to Abuja, allegedly failed to declare the huge sums in their possession, a clear violation of Nigerian financial regulation. Both men are reportedly handed over to the Department of State Service before being transferred to the EFCC for detailed investigation and possible persecution. EFCC operatives also confirmed the recovery of 3 mobile phones during the arrest. The suspect and exhibits were formally received by the CSE Margaret Lame, representing the acting zonal director, Assistant Commander Ahmed Gali. The commission has assured the public that full investigation are underway to determine the source and purpose of the uncleared funds. Meanwhile, the FCC says it remains committed to cracking down on financial crimes and illegal currency movement through Nigerian airports. We need to go on a break now, but when we come back, more news across Nigeria, as much as foreign and sport news, right here on Atlantic TV.
Alright, my name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
Alright, guys, back again. Yes, boss. My name is Baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife, just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
As you know, you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV. We wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Welcome back. Now the rest of the news. Tension in the Middle East may be easing slightly tonight as Hamas has handed over 7 surviving Israeli hostages to the Red Cross, the first step in a ceasefire and hostage exchange deal brokered by global mediators. Now, according to Israeli army, a Red Cross convoy entered northern Gaza on Monday to receive the hostages following weeks of indirect talks involving the United States, Egypt, and Qatar. The release marks the beginning of hostage prisoner swap that includes for the 7 Israeli captives, both living and dead, to be exchanged for 250 Palestine prisoners and 1,700 Gazans held by Israel since the conflict erupted. Hamas armed wing confirmed preparations for handover, publishing a list of names ahead of the transfer. Israeli officials said the exchange will be complete once all hostages are confirmed back across the border. Meanwhile, the U.S. President Donald Trump has departed for Israel and Egypt, where he will be co-chair a Gaza Peace Summit in Sharm el-Sheikh alongside Egypt President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. The summit will bring together over 20 world leaders, including the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, Jordan King Abdullah II, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, and French President Emmanuel Macron, among others. Neither Israel nor Hamas will attend, though mediators are expected to sign a guarantee document to solidify the truce and humanitarian commitment. Reports said hundreds of thousands of Palestinians have begun returning to Gaza City following the ceasefire. Local authorities estimating over 500,000 returnees since Saturday. As the world watches closely, the next 48 hours will determine whether this fragile peace holds or whether the region slides back into another cycle of violence. The United Kingdom's struggling steel industry is bracing for what experts call a worst crisis in decades, following the European Union's decision to slash import quota by nearly half and double tariff on excess steel import from 25% to 50%. The European Commission announced the new trade measures as part of sweeping protection plan aimed at shielding EU jobs and accelerating bloc decarbonization efforts. The decision effectively replaces the existing steel safeguard framework, which was due to expire in June 2026. But in Britain, the reaction had been swift and sharp. Industry leaders warned that the move could cripple the UK export market, already under pressure from the United States import tariff and domestic plant closures. Now, according to RSM UK Industrial Senior Analyst Emmy Swaz, the new EU restriction poses a significant threat to Britain's steel exports. She notes that the EU accounts for nearly 80% of UK steel export, making the bloc the nation's single largest and most critical trading partner for the sector. With energy costs soaring and global competition intensifying, analysts said the timing of this policy could not be worse for Britain's manufacturing backbone. As industry leaders call for urgent intervention with Westminster, the EU insists the measures are essential to protect jobs and foster green transition. For now, steel towns across the UK are once again on edge, watching closely to see if the government can forge a lifeline out of the worsening trade storm. Now, talking sports, there was a brief scare for Nigerian Super Eagles on Saturday after their chartered flight was forced to make an emergency return to Angola mid-air. The team has, however, arrived safely in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, early Sunday morning. The delegation flying from Potokwane, South Africa to Uyo for their 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier had stopped to refuel in Laonda when the aircraft reportedly suffered a cracked windscreen shortly after takeoff. According to report, the pilot maintained calm during the incident and safely guided the aircraft back to Luanda, where all players and officials de-embarked without injuries. The Nigerian Football Federation confirmed the emergency logistics were swiftly activated with a replacement plan or plane detached from Lagos to transport the team to Uyo. The flight eventually landed at the Victor Atta International Airport around 8:05 a.m., where relief and cheers greeted the players. Though the incident caused a delay in the team's arrival schedule, focus has now shifted back to football as the Super Eagles prepare to face Benin Republic in a critical World Cup qualifier, a match widely seen as a must-win for Nigeria qualification hope. With the team now safely in camp, officials say preparations will resume immediately as the Super Eagles look to turn the scare in the skies into inspiration on the pitch. And still talking sports, in a major boost for grassroots football development, ACT Sports, the Oyibo Academy, in partnership with Torino FC Academy of Italy, has expanded its operation to Ondo State, officially inaugurating a new branch in Ondo City. The move is aimed at discovering and nurturing young football talents across Nigeria's southwest region. Founder and director of ACT Sports, the Oyibo Academy, Pastor Samuel, made this known during an official unveiling ceremony on Friday. He credited the expansion to the commitment of Coach Michael, an Ondo-born trainer whose passion for developing young players has contributed immensely to the academy's growth. According to Pastor Samuel, the new branch will serve as a talent discovery hub for the region and create a structured pathway for young athletes to reach professional levels, both locally and internationally. The academic chief scout, former Nigerian international Peter Nikete, has already identified several promising players during the two-day scouting program. Secretary and translator Maria G. Dibasi expressed joy at the turnout, saying the initiative will take children off the streets and give them a future through sport. The curator of the material, Mr. Ikechukwu, also praised the hospitality of the Ondo community and reaffirmed the Academy's commitment to promoting youth development through discipline, exposure, and global opportunities. With the Ondo branch now active, ACT Sports says it plans to extend its reach to other states, including Zamfara, Nasarawa, and the FCT, as it continues its mission to build the next generation of Nigerian football stars. Well, with that sharing news, we've come to the end of the news today on Atlantic TV. We'll always remind you to go drop any newsworthy story on our different platforms, and we'll be more than happy to have it. God bless you. We'll see you next time on Atlantic News.
When the lights go out, who do you call? Ticado! Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Ticado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Ticado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at ticado.com.ng. Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace. Atlantic TV, culturally inclined, uniquely different.
I am SP Dafe Bright and this is Delta State Police Command. Today we'll be treating and addressing an issue that's different from what we've been doing before, not parading suspect this time, but bringing to you a very important information. Do we know that over 85% of Nigerians do password their phones, whether it's Android phones or iPhones? There's always a password. But how come when we lose our phones, by the time we go to retrieve our lines, we go to our bank to check our bank statement, we discover that these people who collected these phones must have siphoned the phones. Now, there are times the people who steal these phones, it is not your phone that they actually need. What they need is your SIM card. Now, how does the SIM card become useful to them? Not just any SIM card, but a SIM card that is linked to your bank account, the one that you usually use to receive SMS alerts. That is what they need. Now, by the time they collect your phone, steal your phone, rob you of your phone, what they do is that they remove this SIM card from your phone and insert it on another phone. So your phone does not really need to power on. They don't even need you to give them your phone password. They don't even need your ATM password. The moment they have access to your SIM card, they can do anything they want to do with your bank account, because all they need is to generate an OTP, and the message, the OTP that is called one-time password, will be sent to that your SIM card, and with that they can do anything they want to do with your account. That is why people lose millions of their life savings simply because they lost their phone. By the side of this video, we'll be doing an illustration. You will see an illustration that talks on how you can password your SIM card. Now, the topic that we are here to discuss, passwording of SIM card. When you get a phone, pick that your phone now. See how you can password your SIM card. If you password your SIM card, by the time for any reason, your phone gets to the wrong hand, even if they remove your SIM card and insert on another phone, the first thing that you will get is a prompt that you should enter your SIM PIN. The moment they cannot get the SIM PIN, they cannot use your SIM card for anything. After the trial of 3, the POC prompt will come because the SIM card will be blocked, and you can only unblock that SIM card when you have the POC number. Some of us don't have our SIM pack because on the SIM pack it is written there the SIM PIN and the POC number. But because some of us don't have our SIM pack, I would advise you to quickly locate the nearest office of your service provider, be it Airtel, Globalcom or MTN. Approach them and request for your POC number. Once you've gotten your POC number, you follow these instructions and ensure that you password your SIM PIN. Your SIM PIN is very, very important. On my phone, for instance, once you turn off the phone and you turn it back on, you must enter your SIM PIN. If you cannot enter your SIM PIN, the SIM card will be useless. And I'm telling you, once they cannot have access to your SIM card, your money will be safely in the bank. They cannot have access to. There was a time I lost my phone, and it took me about 2 weeks to go to MTN office to retrieve my SIM card. Why did I wait 2 weeks? Because I knew I had a SIM PIN. I knew they would not have access to my bank account. I knew they cannot even use my SIM card for anything. Some of these people, when they steal phone, we'll be hoping that, we'll track the phone. Some of them don't even sell the phone. They will just condemn the phone and just get the SIM card to see if they can have your money. Please, they say a word is enough for the wise. It is very, very important. Don't see this video and just pass it by. Watch this video to the end. We're almost approaching the end of the video. Ensure that you take the lesson. Please password your SIM card. They say a stitch in time save nine. It's very, very important. Make haste when the sun shines. Not be to come. You don't have to start running and start saying, what do I do? What do I do? When you can prevent it. Let's not forget, prevention, they say, is better than cure. Thank you.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Welcome back. If you're just joining, it's Trending O'Clock, and you know how we do it right here on Trending. We'll talk about all the trending gist on the internet and, of course, give our opinions about them. I am Mercy Irabo, and you know I can never be alone in the studio, especially when it's trending. So joining me today is Michael Gubadia, and together we'll be talking about all the trending gist on the internet. So what's trending today? Yeah, I would like to start with this story that's been making major headlines. The NDLEA has arrested a businessman, a Geoffo, who reportedly attempted to smuggle 127 wraps of cocaine into the country. According to a statement by the NDLEA spokesman, Femi Babafemi, a Geoffo who runs boutiques in Lagos and Onitsha was intercepted at the Aminu Kano International Airport after arriving from Bangkok, Thailand on October 8, 2025, aboard an Ethiopian airline flight. After a body scan, officials discovered he had both ingested and hidden the drugs in his private parts. 58 wraps were recovered from his clothing, and during medical observation, he excreted another 69 wraps, bringing the total to 127 wraps, weighing 1.388 kilograms of cocaine. Now, this has really raised questions about how far some people would go just to make quick money. And then when you see him, like, I love the way they even tagged him as businessman, because he owned a very big boutique in Lagos and Onitsha. And then you just think, yeah, he's into business, he does boutique and all of that. And that's why I usually feel for people that are not contented with what they have. When they see other persons, they start feeling inferior, thinking that this person is making money, I'm trying my best, I am not. You do not know what they do. So you don't try to compare yourself with anyone, mostly when you do not know the source of their income. Mr. Michael.
Oh yeah, you're just so correct. You know, some persons would look at what this other man has and be questioning God.
You get it.
Unnecessary. Be asking God unnecessary questions. And our good Lord will just be looking at you and be smiling from above. Because many persons will look, oh, he's a businessman, and with even investigations we had, he has one of the biggest boutiques in Anambra State, in his home state. And the one in Lagos is massive, and yet he's into the push of drugs. You know, it's really disheartening that we keep finding these persons being arrested day after day, and yet they're still pushing in on the trade. It's really disheartening. And funny enough, do you know that even the NDLA should be giving a commendation on account of such discovery? Remember, he is coming from a country from the Middle East, and yet they could not detect, only for him landing here. And our own very NDLA seem to have swooped in and indeed discovered these massive drugs. It's one of the highest we've seen at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos. It's one that's already making many Nigerians feel that the NDLA, especially its leader, we're talking about retired Mumba Abuarua, should be given a real commendation on account of such feats.
Yeah, I think they should be given accolades for this. But I keep thinking of it. These persons that ingest all of these hard drugs, are they not scared? Like, what if anything goes wrong?
Well, that's why they keep wrapping it with materials that rarely break. And have you seen some of these men?
I can't take that risk.
Have you seen some of these men eat a bowl of eba? How big the lumps are. So that's more for them to swallow.
Well, I can't take that risk. I don't even care about the money. It's not a risk I want to take, and I don't ever want to take that. So the NDLA says investigations are ongoing to uncover his network and possible connections to international cartels. Well, so we'll get more updates, and I will drop them as soon as they come. So away from that, another police harassment again. I know some persons will be like, mercy and police. Yes, I will keep talking until something changes. We need reform in the Nigerian police force, and that's exactly what I am trying to do. So yesterday morning, a disturbing scene was captured on camera at the back of a Cecil house here in Delta State. In the video, police officers were seen harassing a young man, accusing him of being a Yahoo boy. According to eyewitnesses, the officers went as far as searching his phone, and when they found nothing incriminating, they insisted he must follow them to the station. Well, let's see the footage. This is so disturbing, this is so heartbreaking, this is so disheartening. And the truth is, no young person should live in fear for just owning a smartphone, dressing nicely, owning a car, or just walking down the streets. Like, once this police just see somebody with a car or nicely dressed, and they just tag this person as a Yahoo boy. I've had a first-hand experience, and this is why I am saying this. You don't just stop persons and just accuse them of being a Yahoo boy, even when these persons even try to show their IDs and all of that, and they claim that everybody can get an ID card, like saying you can actually just forge an ID card. I don't know why we keep getting all of this, Mr. Michael.
Well, yeah, it's a sad one, and it's becoming only too frequent in Delta State. And I feel the Commissioner of Police should do the needful, especially as it concerns bringing these erring officers back to book. And on a very lighter note, have you noticed also that the policemen that do this, they are never thin? They seem to be bulky. That means they've eaten
many
money on account of this. And I feel if the Commissioner of Police wants to catch them, on a lighter note, just look at the fat ones, eliminate them from the very thin ones, then you know the people that are always doing this. But on a very realistic note, it is sad that you stereotype people and you just see people that are that dressed and you just go ahead and accost them. You know, he showed you an identity card. He went as far as even giving you a phone, which the Commissioner of Police has banned, that you do not have any right in going through the messages on anybody's phone, but they still insisted in taking him in a car that there was no plate number and drove him away. Even when a young man was even telling them, "Oh God, what is happening?" they even went as far as attacking. You do not attack a civilian on account of questioning. It is unlawful, it is bad, and that's why we keep pushing that the force in the Nigerian police force should be removed so you people will be a bit calm and not be using force on everything.
So we should be using the Nigerian police instead of the Nigerian police
Westminster
force.
Police, Scotland Yard have the British police, no force in it. Let us eliminate the force in our name of Nigerian police, and let's see how it will help reshape the minds of these people.
Yeah, in as much as we are removing the force, we need a reform of the entire system. We need a change in the system. Like, this is becoming terrible. It's just, it keeps reoccurring. And the Commissioner of Police and even the IGP is not even saying anything to this. And I know all of those videos, they keep getting tags and all of that, but yet they keep acting as if they're not saying all of this. So, but the truth is, we really need a reform in the Nigerian police. So now this isn't the first time that we are hearing stories like this, and sadly, it may not be the last until there is a real change within the system. Well, away from that, actress Regina Daniels, wife of Senator Ned Nwoko, is currently making headlines after flaunting bundles of Naira notes she plans to spray at a club. In a video making rounds online, Regina can be seen showing off stocks of cash, saying that's what she'll be spraying at the club that very night. Well, let's see the footage.
I'm arranging my money that I will go and spray pass in club today, but I want it to full. That's not full yet. Hey, how much? Okay.
And of course, the internet had a lot to say. Yes, netizens, you know, they can never see something like this and they just go mute. They never. While some fans praised her for enjoying her life and spending her money, others criticized the move, calling it insensitive, especially during a time where Nigerians are struggling economically. Well, let's see some of the reactions we got. And Nigerian citizens are going through abject poverty. That's the sad reality. This is what caused Nepal youth revolution. But at the same time, Regina is a successful actress who can boast of these monies and not from her husband. Anyone you choose to view it, the video is irritating. Where is at official EFCC? Hope by next year they go tax all these people. Of course, they ought to. People still find it hard to see that the money is being printed by a very big printing machine. Interesting. EFCC right now, chilling and observing. Okay, let's see if we have some more reactions. EFCC won't say anything about this. Why? Because Nigeria justice system doesn't work for the poor. Meanwhile, somewhere along Duse Road, a lot of masses are going through abject poverty. Yeah, they are going through abject poverty. Here is a senator's wife who has not done anything for his constituency, flaunting public resources to be squandered in a nightclub. Only Nigerians can tolerate all these misbehaviors from politicians and their families. Get ready. We are going to the EFCC tomorrow. Who's going there? How the husband continues to retain seats as a senator is something I don't understand. Out of all the young and vibrant men in Delta State, how does Ned keep winning that senatorial seat? So this was why a 20-year-old married a 60-year-old man as a fourth wife so she can carry money, go and spray in the club. I'm not the one saying this. In a Nigeria that 60% barely feed daily. Interesting comments, and we could go on and on and on. Well, I do not know if this was really a nice move from Regina Daniels, knowing that in today's media world, just one post can spark a whole national debate. Yes, while Nigerians are hungry and all of that, I don't, in as much as we know she is an actress and she could be making money for herself and all of that, but the fact that you are a public figure, I do not see reasons why you come online to display cash and all of that, saying you want to just go to club and spray all of those cash. I don't think it's a really nice move coming from her.
Well, especially when her husband seems to be a public figure and representing a senatorial district.
Yeah.
I just hope Senator Nedumoko will call his wife to order, and please, such necessary show of cash is not required at the moment, especially when many Nigerians are in abject poverty. 139 million Nigerians are multidimensional poor, according to the recent release of the World Bank. And yet we see some persons living above board. You know, that's Nigeria for you, where some persons are just so self-centered, with all due respect, and yet they do not think about the feelings of others and rather would enjoy themselves while others go over and over hungry. As it stands now, many Nigerian children do not even see 3 square meals to eat. Some of them will just sleep on an empty stomach, and yet we have somebody wanting to go spray cash in a club, not even a wedding or a burial, but just in a club to have fun. It's quite disheartening.
And the fact that she was boasting about all of this, I don't know, but I feel the husband should do the needful. Well, away from Regina Daniels and the drama, big congratulations are in order for reality TV star and entrepreneur Natasha Akide, popularly known as Tasha. Tasha has officially completed her 24-hour Guinness World Record attempt for the most makeovers done in a single day. And get this, she achieved a total of 145 makeovers. That's a lot. Well, let's see the footage. The event, which ran for a full 24 hours, showcased Tasha's energy, determination, and creativity. And of course, it drew massive support from fans and celebrities across the globe. Yes, it's another art-thon in Nigeria. This is makeover art-thon. Yes, we're waiting for Guinness World Record, but in as much as we are still waiting for the results, but this is a good one again. Nigeria is breaking another record, Mr. Michael.
Well, anyway, it's just like everybody is jumping into the bandwagon of Guinness World Record,
yeah.
And this is one of them. You know, well, it's more for me. I feel it's more of a distraction from the serious issues that are happening in the country, and young Nigerians who want to create their mark in a different way rather than feeling so depressed with what seems to be happening. Well, I just want to tell her congratulations. If that will bring you pure recognition, why not go ahead and do it rather than the one of our child that people have advised not to go ahead in our own quest for Guinness record. And I'm talking about Mandy Kiss. Please, that is not the way to go as it concerns getting any record. Think of something better, think of something innovative, and not of something that will give us a red eye and a bad name.
But do you really believe that Tasha will make it like officially into the Guinness World Record?
She has always wanted to create and break grounds, and
yeah.
Well, that's what I feel she's doing.
Yeah.
Kudos to her, though.
So you watch and tell us, do you think Tasha will make it to the Guinness World Record? And of course, you know, you can drop your thoughts in the comment section of all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. So now, while we're still waiting for the official confirmation from the Guinness world records team. One thing is for sure, Atasha has proven that consistency and hard work always make a statement. Well, I think this is where we have to wrap it up on trending on Viewpoints on Atlantic TV. I really had an amazing time. What an edition of trending and what an edition of Viewpoints on Atlantic TV. Mr. Michael, you had an amazing time too.
Well, an amazing one, and one we'll love to do tomorrow. Same time, same station, and all will just tell you, well, just relax yourself and enjoy the rest of your day, as much as we try to prepare ourselves tomorrow to come and make your day what enjoyable. I still remain Michael Gobadia. Bye for now.
I am Mercy Irapo.